Twilly-dee, twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a-gabbing and a-singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee,
Oh, talking Toni, really gonna talk tonight.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Hello, you're listening to Talking Toni on Rudy Radio, powered by Strong Island Entertainment. I'm your host, Toni Homeperm, the singing diva of Long Island. Thank you for joining us as I get to chat with many of the fabulous people here on Long Island. My special guests today, two very, very dear friends of mine from the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus. We have Mr. John Steele and Mr. Danny Schrafel.
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Hello.
Good to see your sequined tablecloth again.
Yes, my sequins. You know me. I have
Sparkle.
I have to have sequins. So I just want to thank you both so much
thanks for the invite.
being here. To anyone who's listening, I am what would you call me? An auxiliary member of the
Yes,
Long Island
yes,
Gay Men's
I was
Chorus.
Alumni.
What do we?
You're active.
Where do we classify myself?
You're active.
I've been doing a lot of stuff with you guys.
Yes.
So, and I will continue to do a lot of stuff with you
we
guys.
hope
So it's all good. So let's explain to everybody who's listening what exactly is the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus.
Well, it's a chorus that's been around about 11 years now. We
That's
just
right.
celebrated our 10th last year, so this has got to be the 11th, right?
Right.
I've only been involved with it since 2013. Mm-hmm. But it's a group of young men.
Yes,
Yes,
all young,
we're all young men.
even the ones collecting Social Security.
or forgetting to sign up for it. But there's 11 of us now.
It's about, I think
Yeah,
11.
11
11
of
active
us
and a
now.
couple in reserve right now.
Couple
Yes.
in reserve. And
Yes.
we go about Long Island singing.
That's right. That's right. And Danny, you are one of the directors
I'm
on the
board
board.
of directors. Heaven help us all.
Heaven help us all.
Yes, I've been with the chorus. In fact, this is concert 5, so it put me about 2.5 years
that's
once
right.
I'm done here. And I signed up after one of the other board members, Bill McCarthy, pretty much worked on me for about a year and a half to actually join the Bloody Chorus. You see, I come from the very august and honored tradition of karaoke. Couldn't read a lick of music. Getting a little better. I can actually follow a song around now, but I guess he heard me sing karaoke. He's like, oh, he's all right. And said, why don't you come down? But most good things in my life, it takes me forever to commit to them, so...
But
took
we
a while,
sucked
but-
you in. We sucked you in.
Yes.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, you got me. And I got on the board probably about after the first concert because I was writing press releases for the concerts the first time, and they said, you're doing the work right, so just say yes.
Exactly. That was my point, Danny.
Yes.
You were doing so much work for the chorus. I was like, you might as well be on the board. You're already doing the work of a board member. So,
you go.
and of course, the good thing was, since I was on the board too at that time, is you get to come over for the board meetings and have the bagels and the cream cheese and all
Get
all
judged by the cats,
all the
all
good
the-
stuff that we had.
Get judged by the cats and all that, too.
Yes, well, cats can be very judgy.
Can.
We all know that.
Kind of a standard equipment, as I recall.
Yes. And now, of course, every holiday season, the chorus puts on their wonderful
Yes.
holiday concerts, and we're gonna talk about the upcoming one. But
Okay.
actually, John, I happened to be talking on Tuesday with Joanna Cruz, who has a show here on Strong Island called Sorry Not Sorry, and I was mentioning the program that I put together where you were the storyteller. It was right after what happened in Florida at Pulse, and we initially probably were going to do something very lighthearted and comedic, and then just as we were about to start preparations, Pulse happened. Yeah. and we all felt, and Jeff, who was the artistic director at the
Artistic
time,
director, right.
he also felt that probably it just wasn't the right time. The
To be
mood,
real jovial.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
So I loved what you wrote. It was a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
And I think we got a lot of good reactions with that as
We
well.
did,
So,
we did.
Great reviews, as it were.
Yes, we got coverage from News 12.
Right.
They came down to the Cathedral of the Incarnation, and they did a whole piece on us. And Christmas Day, they had it running like
Constantly, yeah.
constantly the whole day. It was like you couldn't you couldn't miss us. We kept coming.
We were
up.
everywhere.
We were everywhere. And yes, and John, you did such an amazing job. What I did was I wrote a fairy tale for
Right.
the two young men who unfortunately lost their lives at Pulse, who were supposed to be married. And we wanted to give them a happy ending.
Right.
So
One that they didn't get in
the one
real
that
life.
they
but
didn't get, and we presented it as a fairy tale, and you were the storyteller.
narrator. Yeah, the
So, and I
narrator.
know one of the things you liked, John, was I made a really big book,
Huge book.
that looked like a storybook, and it
He
had
does like
all
his
your
props.
all your lines written in there.
Everything there. All I had to do is really read it and give it some
Yes.
emotion.
Yes, because John, you are a wonderful actor. You've been
thank you.
doing a lot of acting here
Many
on Long
years,
Island.
yes.
I know you've performed at the Merrick Theater, Noel Ruiz.
Yes, there. I've been. I was an alumni of Airport Playhouse. Unfortunately, they closed shop a few years ago, so now I'm kind of a free agent.
He's a free agent.
And I'm all over the place and currently working on a production for what do they call themselves? Modern Classics Theater in Lindenhurst.
Lindenhurst.
Yes, and it's
There seems to be quite a few theaters in
there's a little
Lindenhurst.
Broadway in Lindenhurst.
Yeah,
you know?
it's amazing.
There's 3 theaters on the same street,
it is
all
amazing.
within
It is
like a block
amazing.
of each other. And I've worked at all 3 of them. I really
Oh.
have. I just realized, yes, this will now be the 3rd one that I've worked at.
And that one is called
This one is Modern Classics at
Modern
the
Classics.
Baca Center up on north part of Wellwood. They're the furthest north.
Okay.
And then there's South Shore Experience, and one of our other chorus members, Alex, works a lot
That's
there.
right. That's right.
And then the
Studio Theater. I actually did
And you'd done there.
I did a little show at Studio Theater for Rudy Breedy, my creative director here on Rudy Radio.
There you go. So,
Yes.
such a small world.
I know, so small, so small. But yes, so that was an amazing
Yes.
holiday concert that we did.
The thing I loved about it is the words. Yeah, you
Thank
wrote
you.
such a moving thing. It was easy enough to find the emotion in it because the story
Yes.
was there. And the whole reasoning behind it.
Yes.
Just brought out everything. I think there was one point or two that there wasn't a dry eye in the house, and that's
I'm glad.
You know,
I'm glad.
yeah.
So
made people think.
So I mean, I was talking about it the other night, and when I was writing it, I mean, it was that whole experience affected me so much, and so many
Yeah.
people in the LGBTQ community. And I remember when I was writing it, I was literally sobbing while I was typing, writing it. So for me it was a very cathartic experience getting that all out. But I have to thank you because you did such an amazing job
it's
of
my
bringing it
pleasure.
to life, of bringing my words to life.
Yeah, I mean, there's great comfort sometimes. I mean, but maybe not even comfort, maybe not the right word, but it's part of a healing process to putting pen to paper, as it were, because sometimes the things that I know I don't want to deal with, they kind of rattle around in my head for a long period of time. And if I let them keep rattling around up there, maybe they don't exist. But you put them on paper, it's real, it's there.
Yes.
And maybe it's a way to open a door to kind of move forward.
Right.
Something I
Absolutely.
need to work on, but I mean, I'm a master of avoiding uncomfortable topics. But
I don't know
It's-
what you're talking about.
yeah.
Now,
John, I'm pregnant.
breaking news! Wait a minute! Wait a minute!
Calm down, Mom. Everything's fine.
It's okay. It's okay. Now we should explain to everybody. Now the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus is a 501c nonprofit
Correct.
organization, and really it's open to anyone
Anyone.
who wants to sing.
We are a
And
love
we-
all, serve all organization.
Yes.
Yes. And in the past, we had I can still say we because
Yes. Yes,
even
you
though I'm
can.
not at regular
You were at
rehearsals,
the
I'm
last
still part of
cabaret and put everything together.
That's
You
right.
done
That's
well,
right. And
so.
we're doing a couple more in 2020.
There you
too.
go. So
But we used to have an audition process.
yes.
And Danny, I don't think we didn't have the
don't think I
audition
auditioned,
process
no.
when you joined. I was when I joined, there was still the audition process.
There was when I joined
And
too.
when you joined too, and we decided to do away with it because we felt that it might be a little too nerve-wracking because most of the members are not professional singers.
No, we're not.
Or and I'm
I was fortunate. I had worked with Jeanette, our musical director now.
Yes.
I had worked with her for years before I
Yes.
joined the chorus. So I kind of walked in and said, Jeanette knows me.
Right.
I know that, like, if the dots on the line go up, my voice goes up. I know FACE. And I know, like, the two clefs.
that's and
I
That's
didn't know
about
that
all I
much.
know. And
you probably know more than most of the members knowing that.
And so they just played a few notes, and I sang the notes that they played, and voila, they were stuck with me for 6 years.
Absolutely, and we should mention the artistic director and accompanist, Ms. Jeanette
Jeanette
Cooper.
Lovely,
I just love her so much. When you first joined and I first joined, she was the accompanist,
Just the
for the
accompanist?
previous artistic.
I don't want to say
director.
just the accompanist, but
True, but she wasn't involved in the creative aspects.
except an eye roll here and there.
And I roll here and there. She excels at that. So
Quiet shade. Yes.
And
The master.
when we were in transition and looking for a new artistic director, I remember I didn't think that Jeanette would want to move into that position, and nobody else had thought of it. Because we had for so long been like artistic director, accompanist,
Right.
artistic director, accompanist, and I happened to see some other smaller choruses because we are tiny but mighty.
That's
That's
small
it.
and mighty.
Tiny but mighty, where the artistic director and the accompanist were same person. And I said, well, gosh darn it,
You want to do it?
why don't we just, I said, why don't we just ask Jeanette if she wants to do it? And she was, Danny, you weren't there, but John, you were there when we had the auditions for the accompanist.
No, I didn't. I wasn't at the when it happened.
You weren't there?
No, I was out that night.
Oh, you were out
Yeah.
that night. Yes. Well, Jeanette came in and she had some sheet music that she made up of Love Potion number 9.
Oh, I remember
And-
that song.
Yeah,
We sang that one, I
And
think.
you know, she gave it out to us in just a few minutes. She had us all singing in the parts and everything, and it was just like, after that, we all were just like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Why didn't we think
This,
of this?
she is Jeanette is just perfect to do this, and I really feel that Jeanette has helped take the chorus to a whole new level.
Yes.
And the artistically speaking, and the caliber of the concerts and the programs have just been phenomenal since she has taken over.
Yeah, she has a real knack for herding a room of slightly rambunctious gay men.
Yes.
That have been working all day, and they come to chorus maybe a little bit knackered and a little bit full of caffeine and sugar, and kind of harnessing us and pointing us in the right direction.
Absolutely.
With great humor and
Patience.
deftness. Yeah.
Yes.
Patient.
And Jeanette has also commented to us many times that she's getting ready to come to the rehearsal, and it may have been like a tiring day or a weary
Long one.
day,
It was a
and
crappy
and all of a
day.
sudden she comes in and she's playing and conducting us, and we're all singing, and she says it's like everything is just like beautiful
Lifted.
again.
Yep.
It's uplifting, and so.
We have that effect on each other. I
We
think.
do, yes.
Yeah.
It's a great symbiosis.
Yes.
I would
Yeah,
say.
I know you
between
guys have gotten me through a lot of kind of really miserable moments.
Well,
so
that's the other good thing about
that's
the chorus.
most important
Yes.
thing about the chorus to me. It's why I'm so kind of
The
jealous and
friendships-
protective of
yeah.
it.
The friendships that you build. A lot of members have gone separate ways, but you're friends with them all on
Absolutely,
Facebook, and you're always in communication with them in some way or another. Maybe
Yes.
not every day, but
Right.
We spend a lot of time together too. I mean,
Yeah.
between it's 2
Yes.
hours of rehearsal a week typically, and then hour and a half, 2 hours yenting it up at the diner, and then going to supporting each other's shows on the weekends,
Yep.
and going
Yes.
elsewhere, and other. So, I mean, in a typical week, a typical month, you're spending like 20 hours a week with these
Yeah.
folks. So
they're friends.
you
They're
become friends.
you
You're
know,
gonna drive each other crazy.
friendships forever.
Yes.
We take turns doing that sometimes. We do drive each other crazy,
Yeah.
but
I
Family
mean,
does that.
we really all become like an extended family.
Yep.
I would say, being once you're a part of the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus, you can't get out of your.
So you all should come and try to be a member of the Long Island Gay Men's
Yes,
Chorus.
yes,
That's
yes.
what we're saying.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, it's like I've always considered. I mean, I thought about that question quite a lot because I do a lot of the promotions for the course, and as you've probably seen, I've been inundating Facebook from like every corner with word of the concerts and all that. And I'm always kind of bracing myself for the question of some smart aleck who maybe isn't so fond of gay folk posting. I post in all sorts of groups. I'm always kind of girded myself for the question, well, why the hell is there a gay men's chorus? What about a straight person's chorus? And I said,
They're in Boston. They're in Boston.
with that,
Those
the
are all.
straight
They're
pride
all
parade,
over.
Yeah.
They're all.
That
They're
one
all
just so
over.
smashingly well with I was like, I'm thinking of something snarky that'll probably come out that's something I shouldn't say on the radio, so we'll just move on gracefully from there. I
If
also
you're
don't wanna
just
get-
tuning in, you're listening to Talking Tony on Rudy Radio, powered by Strong Island Entertainment. I'm your host, Tony Holmperm, and with me are Danny Schrafel and John Steele Jr. from the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus. Yes. And now we have to talk because this is December.
Yes.
And it's coming close
Next
God
week.
help
for the annual holiday concert.
Yes, next
of the,
week.
Yes,
It's here
next
already.
week.
It's-
8
yes.
days. Oh my
Yes.
God.
8 days a week.
13th and 14th.
The 13th and 14th. Yes. And it's John, tell everyone where the concerts are going to be
Okay.
this year.
Friday night, Friday the 13th. That scares me. But Friday the 13th, we are at the Cathedral of the Incarnation in Garden City. Concert starts at 8 o'clock.
Doors at 7:30, as I recall.
I believe so. It's $25. Can't beat that.
No.
You get an hour and a half of maybe even 2 hours worth of songs
That's right.
by some of the most handsome young men on Long Island.
That's right.
I keep promoting the young men, don't I? and
All two of them.
All two of them.
Oh, heaven. Lead with what sells, John. You know the business.
And then Saturday night, we are out in Stony Brook.
Yeah, Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at Stony Brook, 380 Nichols Road in East Setauket for your GPS. And
Good thing you knew that, because I
yeah.
didn't.
Well, I've only been punching this into like community calendars and Facebook groups for like the last week or so. So it's just like it's burned in my head
Good.
at this point. But that's right by Stony Brook University, not too far from there. And it's a great little room that the UUs offer us up. So if
I
you're
love singing there.
Yeah, the sound.
both places I
yeah,
do.
I will
Yes,
tell you,
both places are
the
incredible.
both places are incredible in different ways. The Cathedral, it's a different sound because the spires are so grand and
Yes.
Yeah.
just so magnificent that creates a different sound there, a little more
Yes.
reverb and more play in the room.
And the visuals
The
in
visual,
in the
you can't-
Cathedral
it's just one of the most beautiful.
Especially-
amazing.
especially
It is
for the
no
holiday,
joke,
yes.
and not sucking up to anybody because they've taken very good care of us over the last week. It is one of the most beautiful places on the
It really
architectural
is.
things.
It
on the
really
world.
is,
If you haven't
without a
seen
doubt.
it, go. And
Absolutely.
a funny story about the Cathedral. The first concert I did with you all, I think it snowed, and we're like, I'm calling my parents, like, can you send shovels with you
That's
when you
right.
come?
That's right.
I remember
That's
And I
right.
remember we had some members like pacing around the back saying, "Now he's gonna come. Why are we having a concert?" No names. She's that person's probably listening, going to like strike me with lightning.
But they did come, and it was
Yeah.
it was,
They did come, it was great
a
fun.
great
Yeah, we didn't have
concert.
like a huge house that night, but it was still such a warm evening.
It was a rewarding
Yes.
house, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I rember the first night I sang, and my mother looks at me and says, "You know, your grandfather sang at that church." And I'm like, "Oh boy." I was saying, "Pop, could you help me remember the words, please? Thank you." No, it turns out
And
he
you
was.
did, you did.
I did pretty well. I don't think I let go of my wrist for the whole show, for the whole first two concerts. But the thing there was that my grandfather, back when he was a young man, sang in the Episcopal choir, and the Cathedral of the Incarnation is the Episcopal See of Long Island. So is kind of a link that made sense when you thought about it. But it was just kind of like right before a show. It's like, oh, this is kind of eerie and cool, and
All at the same time.
and carrying on a tradition that you didn't even know that you'd be carrying on.
Right.
Maybe in a manner Grandpa didn't exactly anticipate, but there you go.
There
It was
you
kind of
go.
a neat link to the place. And
Danny, where can people get the tickets
Yes.
for these wonderful
Now,
concerts?
you
I have
can-
to tell all my
Oh,
listeners.
yes. You may purchase these tickets at ligmc.org. And you look
.org, that's very important.
Yes.
Yes, ligmc.org, and look on the top toolbar for the event, for the concerts tab. It'll take you right there. We're going to number of ways it'll route you to the concert tickets. You can also purchase them at the door on concert night, but they're the same price at the door and online now. So
Same price. So
save yourself the trouble. Save your board members a little bit of odds to buy them online.
yes,
Yeah.
please
Make us
buy them online because I know from
That way
having
we know how many chairs to set up at the
Yes.
Yeah.
at the Saturday
Yes.
night performance.
But I also know from having had to run the door, it's such a pain in the neck having to like make the change and all this.
Oh, that's
and
not even the hard part. You're saying, is anybody going to come?
They always come.
They always come, but
They
it's always scary.
come. Yes. No. There's no worries about that. And John.
Yes.
Let's delve into what exactly is this holiday concert, because from what a little bit I've heard, it seems like it's going to be very entertaining.
It is. It's a little bit of swing
A little swing, a little swing,
and a lot of parody.
a lot of parody. Oh boy,
We love parody.
we do.
Yeah.
I kind of, one of the Facebook posts made the comparison to, well, if you can't decide whether you like fresh cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving or cranberry sauce in a can, we've got both of them for
Yes,
you.
Both.
So we've got all your
Okay.
bases covered.
Yes.
Fresh and canned. I like both.
I do too.
We're doing some fun little numbers like Boogie Woogie Hanukkah.
That's a good one.
You know, we're covering all our bases.
Covered all the bases.
Yes.
Covering all
That's
our
a fun
bases.
one.
Non-denominational.
All right.
Accepting
Barbara,
of all.
for the cardiovascular exercise portion of the program, we've got the Barbara Streisand version of Jingle,
Jingle
Bells.
Bells.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
way.
Man, it's
then
a lot
like-
faster than that.
Yeah.
I know.
And of course, I know you've done this before because I'm still like waking up in the morning going, "What was that lyric? What was that lyric?"
Oh yes. Yes.
So we have a couple of those. We have a couple of numbers that we are doing on book that are going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Even though we're on book, you guys are going to love it.
Yes. Well, I have to say, we learn a lot of songs in a very short amount of time.
It is
It
short,
flies
and you
by
don't
like you
think
wouldn't
about
believe.
it.
So it is difficult to learn everything by memory within that amount of time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know.
Boogie Woogie Hanukkah has choreography.
Oh boy.
I knew how much you
Oh
loved
boy, the choreography.
Uh.
Oh, Danny, you're so lucky. You don't have the memories that John Steele and I
Are you
do
still in
of
therapy
some
for those?
choreography? Oh my goodness.
I've heard the stories.
No
and they're
Vogue.
just
Oh,
oh God help us. Yes, I've heard the stories about Vogue at the Diner many a
Vogue.
time.
Oh my goodness, John Steele. How many hours? Did
Too
we
many
rehearse
hours.
And how
the
many
choreography
orifices did you
when we
dream
did
of
Vogue?
shoving those fans up somebody's? Because I heard,
Careful! This is G-rated.
That's why I said orifices. We're being very physiological here.
Yes.
No, it was a lot of hours, but all I can the fans.
Yes.
That was just like.
Yes. Now that was my first concert.
Was that your very
That
first
was my
one?
first
Oh.
concert.
Oh,
And
what a welcome.
I would be like rehearsing that choreography because I was in the front row and I was like deathly afraid. I was like my first concert. I'm like I'm right in the front. I'm like
hit
I have
myself
to
in the
know
head.
these moves. I'd be rehearsing them, and my husband would walk past the bedroom door and he'd be like, "Are you choking
still
on a
think-
hard candy or something? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I have to learn this choreography. I'm not going to look like a fool standing up there like not knowing which way to move."
But we got the snap, didn't we?
We did. Oh my goodness! And that's actually
That was the legend of the show. Is that you nailed the snap and people just went bonkers.
Yeah, so we have that video on the Facebook page. If
Right.
you go to Long Island Game and Scores on Facebook, and that video is up there.
Which will also link you to
it's on
buying tickets
YouTube, I
and all
think,
that.
And
too.
yes, it's on YouTube also. But when we did that and we brought out the fans and snapped them, the audience went nuts.
Nuts. They
They
was
went.
crazy.
They literally went nuts.
Yeah.
And it was like, and as being that was like my first concert, and that I think that number was kind of early in the program.
I think so, yeah.
And when we did, thank God, because we needed
Get it done, get it out of the way.
We needed to get it out of the way.
But tell me, what did that feel like when you stick the landing of just people?
It
just blow
was
the roof off
electrifying.
It was.
The crowd they were screaming, and you can hear it in the video.
Yeah.
And we were
It
just
didn't matter
like,
what note we sang after that.
after that, it
they
didn't
hear
matter.
it.
It
They
didn't
can't
matter.
hear you anyway because they're too busy screaming.
Also, funny story about that is because there was really the accompaniment is basically just a few chords,
Right.
and Jeanette, the artistic director, she hated it. She was like, if I never play that song again, she said, I will be happy. She said, I never want to play it again.
Yeah, it's an amazing pop
Great
record
memories.
with all the bells and whistles, but there's not much for a piano player to play.
No,
as I recall.
it definitely is.
It's like,
it definitely is not.
and the solo for the piano player is like very just
Minimal.
Ding,
Yes,
ding,
very
ding,
minimal.
ding,
at,
ding,
minimal at best.
yeah, and she's like, oh my
Yes.
god. So we try to pick songs that don't drive our poor artistic director out of
No,
her
we
mind.
have a nice
It's a nice set.
variety of songs.
With a
this-
little bit
this
of
time
classy,
around.
a little bit of tacky.
It sounds like it's gonna
a
be
lovely.
Great.
That's a couple of
Fun.
really beautiful numbers too. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
sometimes our best stuff is the quiet
Absolutely.
stuff, especially when you're in the cathedral,
Yes.
because it's just so beautiful.
Yes.
I think it's one of the medley ones with
Oh, Gentleman's Christmas.
Yeah,
Go Tell on the Mountain.
and
Yeah, I mean, it runs the gamut of two things. We have, very kind of secular things, some very kind of spiritual items as well. So nobody should feel out of place. I mean, there's
No.
something for everybody. Which I think one of the hallmarks of an LIGMC set list is that there is great diversity. So there's
yes.
something that's going to kind of hit the mark regardless of your musical taste.
So now for next year,
Yeah.
for the spring concert, if there is anyone listening who wants to become a member,
Yeah.
what do they need to do?
Keep an eye out on Facebook because we
Follow
always
us on
post on
Facebook
there.
if you don't already. That would be
Correct.
a great way to express
Facebook.
me. Follow us on bookmarkligmc.org. Join
Right.
our mailing list on our website. I'm in charge of the newsletters, so I will be inundating your poor mailboxes
I understand.
in the next week or so.
I understand we'll be starting early this year.
We are
in
starting a little
January.
early.
And so in
Last week of January.
Yes. Because we already have
We have an engagement for Valentine's Day.
for Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice.
So we've got to get our vocal cords lined up for that.
That's right.
We can dust off some
Pop
numbers
those
from-
lozenges.
Oh, yeah. Fisherman's Friend cough
Fisherman's
drop.
Friends. That's the best one. That was
Yes,
that
another
was
thing Miss Holmberg.
Steve
Yeah.
Dune. He turned me on to the
And Miss
Fisherman
Holmberg
Friends.
passed on to me.
And I
they're
passed it on to
If
you.
you've never had them, you can get them at pretty much any big box pharmacy. They are these wonderful, heavily mentholated
Super
cough drops.
mentholated, yes.
If you don't like
you're-
menthol, they ain't going to
But if
turn you
you're,
on.
a singer and, you need to get through like a
concert.
program, there is nothing better, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
I will guarantee you all that I will have at least two tucked in my cheeks at all times during the upcoming concert. So
I'm not going to touch that.
Oh, and
you said
Danny-
this is a G-rated program, so cool.
we get Danny to sing in the basement in one number too. He
I'm
joins the
kind of
baritone.
the chorus tramp this time because
Oh,
I am
He's dropping down
singing
into the baritone.
baritone
my.
in one song, tenor two most of them, and then I think I'm doing a descant on one of the songs. It's like up in nosebleed somewhere. The funny part about my voice is that between nosebleed and tenor two, well, tenor one and tenor two, in the kind of in between area, I got nothing. But if you get me really, really high, there's something there. So
Yes.
So we got
I will
them all
be
over the
bouncing
place.
around the schoolyard this concert. So it ought to be interesting.
Oh, that's
Stay
great.
tuned. There's
That's
a chance
great.
you might see me fall on my face. And it'll be
No,
great
no.
entertainment. No matter what happens, it'll be very entertaining. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
So, I mean, well, we have to tell everyone. I mean, I've done a lot of duets with you, Danny. So, and both as boy and girl.
Yes.
And
Sometimes both at the same time. It's very interesting.
I think so. Yes.
we came close with the Adamant drag. That was pretty cool.
That's right. So, but you always do a great job.
You always manage to pull it off.
A wonderful singer, as are you, John
We
Steele.
try.
So you are two of the people that I've always just had the most fun performing with.
You've been a
in the
sweetheart
Gay
all
Men's
the
Chorus.
time. And your boy drag and your
Oh,
girl
thank
drag.
You, thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate that. So it sounds like these concerts are going to be so much fun.
We hope so.
Yep.
So, Any idea like what the spring is going to be?
I don't know.
We're still working on
still
that.
kind of batting
Yeah.
things around. So, we throw things around and everyone tries to decide on what we're going to do.
I guess the challenge is finding a format and a theme that works for our accompaniment, because it's piano-based drums pretty much. We don't even have bass this year, but it should be okay. But it's basically a piano-based drum band and accompaniment that we're playing with. So you really, there are some, it becomes a challenge picking contemporary songs, but you have these amazing kind of, very multi-layered produced songs, and you strip them down to piano-based drums, there's not so much there. So you have to really kind of choose wisely. Also, for something that doesn't sound kind of neuter when you play it with piano, bass, and drums, and also something that highlights the members' voices as ideally as possible. Because
Yes. Well, that's
yeah.
one thing about our artistic director,
got
Jeanette
a great
Cooper. She
sense of
has
that.
an amazing gift for getting the best sound out of a very eclectic group of voices.
Young men.
Young men. Young men's voices.
young strapping man.
Young strapping men. Yes. And,
She's a miracle worker, she is.
yes. So again, because I know we're almost out of time. So where can they get the tickets for the concerts?
You may purchase them at the door.
At the
On
door.
the 13th, Cathedral of the Incarnation in
Yes.
Garden City. The 14th, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at Stony Brook,
Correct.
360 Nichols Road, East Setauket. You can buy them at the door or online at ligmc.org under the concerts tab. They are $25 wherever you buy them, so we recommend buying early just to save yourself a few minutes.
Save yourself the hassle.
Save us the agita. Just
And of
makes
course,
it easier for
We
everybody.
have
They
a
can
couple of
always-
raffle baskets, too.
Ooh,
so-
raffles. The raffle baskets are always wonderful.
Yes.
And they can always find out information about the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus on Facebook as well. And as a honorary member, I always share the information.
You have been
as-
wonderful
as
about that. We
well.
appreciate
So
that.
There's nothing more that I like to do.
Very good.
So because the Long Island Gay Men's Chorus is where Toni Holmperm was born.
That's where she
She
started.
was.
That's
yeah.
where she started.
I remember
at the
that
very
first show you
drag
sang.
I
cabaret.
remember her when.
You remember her when?
Yes, you sang Royals.
Yes. It was so much fun.
Twirling about the VFW floor, as I recall.
I know. And well, we'll have more coming up next year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be just as much fun. But I want to thank you both for being here.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
Joining me
Thanks
here.
for having us back. It's our second time in just a couple
Danny,
months.
this is your second time, but we didn't really get to talk too much about the chorus the last
right,
time.
yeah.
And John, this was your first time.
Very first time.
Very first time. So I want to thank you all for joining us today here on Talking Tony. I'm your host, Toni Holmperm. You can catch me live on Rudy Radio on Strong Island Entertainment every first, third, and fifth Thursday of the month at 6:30 p.m. So until our next show, thank you and good night.
Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a gabbing and a singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Oh, talking Toni, gonna talk tonight.